Hey everybody, welcome back. So in this video, let's talk about something that is absolutely hated by everybody, not just technical people, but also other people like product managers and all that, which is legacy code base. If you have ever worked with legacy code base before, you know what I'm talking about. It's legacy for a reason. Legacy kind of means it's an old code base, and there has been plenty of people who have worked on it. You know, like one developer after another, and they've left the company and they've left the horrible code base behind. And you don't want to blame them, but you kind of need to know how to work with legacy code base. So this is what this video is about, and I won't go into too many details because there is so many things. I think there's an amazing book, refactoring legacy code base, something like that. You can grab that book, read it. But let's talk about legacy code base and how to work with it. Um, if you're watching this video in 2025, at least the easiest thing you can do when you're working with legacy code base is write tests. You can use AI to write tests, and that'll cover some parts of the system. It's gonna write tests that are not too specific, because you can't write specific codes for legacy code base anyway, because everything just so vague, and the functions are so long. The classes are just 1,000 line, 2,000 line, 5,000 lines. So a lot of the time, stuff is not even in the functions. It's just lines of code, And to be honest, I can sympathize with that because I have worked with that, And you can't write tests for that. So when I say write tests, I mean write feature tests, write any test, that's gonna cover something, So what will happen once you have like 5, 6, 10, 20 tests written for a class that covers different situations, outcomes, or for a function, which is obviously not going to be perfect because it's difficult to write tests for legacy code bases. At least if you make a mistake, if you make some error somewhere, you'd hope that test that you've written, 10, 20, 30 tests you've written, might pick something. Obviously, it's not going to pick everything because the code is just not testable. For legacy website, it's the client that ends up testing a lot of the times, and we don't want that, right? From business perspective and for from developers perspective, you want your work to be quality work. And if you have tests and you make a mistake, there is a chance that test might pick that mistake somewhere. There is a chance it might not, but it'll help you out. Okay, so that's point number one. Write tests where you can. Point number two is avoid rewriting the code bases, and developers love rewriting stuff. They love to refactor functions into different places. They love to create new classes and then and copy the similar logic into the classes just so it's in a kind of a same group, same category, which is amazing. It's amazing, but it's only amazing for your side project, for the weekend project. It's not really amazing for an application that's working and it's legacy and you're not too familiar with the code base. It's not. Don't do that. Don't. Second point number two, don't just go in randomly rewriting the code because you think this would be better. That would be the only thing that'll end up happening eventually if you rewrite too much code, is you're gonna end up breaking something, and you'll make people mad because you're just moving things around too much for other people to understand, and other developers gonna get mad. And eventually something will break because you're just rewriting so much. You don't want to do that. Okay, if you have to rewrite, make small rewrites, it's small changes here and there, but don't make changes to 10 different files and then push that all up. Then someone needs to review that. It becomes messy. If you need to rewrite, make small changes, okay, and go like that. Don't ever rewrite huge chunks of code. And to be fair, this advice applies to everything, not just legacy, even to application written in nice way. Don't rewrite a lot of code base. Yeah, and if you have ever done that, you know what the outcome is. You're gonna make some people mad, and you'll break the site. Customers gonna get mad. They're gonna be going to your website forms. They're gonna be blasting the contact form. Calls gonna be coming in. Don't rewrite the code base unless you absolutely need to. The third point is that you need to start adding comments. it's legacy code base because it's legacy and you don't understand anything. You won't be able to understand things just by looking at them. Just by looking at the code base, it won't make sense to you too much. So uh, leave comments, but don't leave excessive comments, just everywhere comment, because then again it'll make other people mad, and obviously you don't want to leave too many comments anyway. Maybe slowly, eventually you can have enough comments where things kind of make sense to you, and anyone new who joins the company, it makes sense to them because there is enough comments for them to make any sense at all. So um, keep that in mind. Don't write too many comments. But what you can do personally, you can create diagrams of the code base just so you can see how different parts of this code interacts with the other part of the code. Obviously, because it's legacy, it's going to be like this, not like this, which again makes it difficult. But you can try creating some diagrams, so you kind of have some mental model of how things work. It'll help you. Point number 4 is, if you don't have staging environment, dev environments and all that, please push your management team or DevOps teams to have that and kind of automate the workflow, because when you start writing tests, you want those tests to run in the on the Git runner or something like that. That'll help you eventually. It'll help you catch some bugs, and you want to have staging and dev environment anyway. Every company has it, but some company, because they're legacy, they don't have it. So yeah, get that sorted. It'll help everybody and save your business one day. Now the 5th point, I think personally this is the most important point. Whether you're a developer or not, it doesn't matter, and whether you're working with legacy app or not, that also doesn't matter. I think this is the most important point, and that is, talk to people who have been in the business and have seen things break, things get fixed again, have seen production go down, have seen site being extremely slow for some reason. Just speak to anybody in the business, from AM to project managers to developers, to technical lead, anybody you can find, whether they're technical or not. Just ask for their experience, what they think of the site, what portion of the site they think is horrible, the time when they discovered a bug, and why they think that bug came into the system, sneak into the system. And just ask general question, and you'd be surprised how much information you can gather just by speaking to even someone who's non-technical. You can just gather so much information, and that information is going to kind of make you understand the system in big way, because these people have worked with user interface, they have worked with the site in ways that we as developers don't work. So speak to these people, and it's going to help. Just speak to anybody you can find. Is try to speak regularly until you have good understanding of the system. There's many more things you can do, but I don't think this video is about those sort of things. It's a bit vague, but I don't want to go into too much details. But these are the things you want to keep in mind. If I were to tell you just to take one thing away from this video, it would be to just speak to people, speak to developers, senior leadership, anybody you can find about the site or the product. They'll give you very good understanding. So yeah, that's all. Speak to people. Try to get staging and all these environment automated. Write comments, create your diagrams, workflow, so you understand. I think I was just kind of sketching something. So I had something like this. What does it say? It says get data and then push data up to S3. It kind of helps you understand, get mental model. Don't try to rewrite too much code base. Yeah, this will save you one day. And last but not least, I think it was write tests where you can, especially with AI and all that, it can write tests for you. It's not gonna write tests like humans do. Obviously, it's not gonna do a good job of writing tests, but it'll do enough so that if there is a obvious issue somewhere, it might pick. But yeah, those are the things, and I hope this video has been helpful. I think it's becoming a pattern. I kind of started making videos on Friday. Fine, maybe I'll make next one on Monday if something important comes to mind. But until then, guys, have a nice weekend. Bye.